Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are. As always, thank you for being another day here. So remember that today is 22nd, May 22nd. So today we make the change of our month. Remember, for those who are following the task of the Merkaba, every month since February, I guess, 22nd, we started to make for a month the intention before we go to sleep of saying I am, and then an attribute of the Merkaba. So we are activating the attributes of the Merkaba. Okay, so every month we change the day 22nd. So we are preparing ourselves to create between all together, all as one, this huge Merkaba for our task in August 22nd, which will be our first connection all together doing a planet task. So today we change the concept, which is I am form. So just to think about it before we go to sleep, or just to say it, it's not much for this next month until the next 20. Remember that the attributes of the Merkaba are related to the first three that we set these past 3 months, which was of wisdom and will. And for these next 3 months, we will work with the other trinity, which is light and form. So for this month, it will be form. And form is basically all the forms that we are. We have the form of a human. So just by saying I am form is one of the attributes of what we are. Okay. So today it's getting complicated even for me. I'm learning too. So today we have to talk about the endocrine system. So for sure, this system, the endocrine system, is the one that you have the most in the spiritual world. For sure, all of you know about the endocrine system because it's the one that has the glands, and we know the glands because they are the embodiment of the chakras. So in the spiritual world, we all the time say about the chakras and the 7 chakras and how to align the chakras. And usually we mention the glands in which they are encoded. Okay, the chakras are living and expressing these glands. But for sure, many of us had no idea what are their function, where they really are in our body, and how they work for us in our life. So let's go into this. So I recommend you to watch the previous video from yesterday to where I speak about about how the spiritual, the idea, the world of ideas, the intangible reality manifests itself through the organs into the world of attributes. So from the ethereal to the physical, the organs are kind of the prisms that allow this information to be manifested here. So I spoke about that yesterday, and today we're going to see it a little bit more related to a prisma, like a crystal where a white ray of light comes through, and this prisma divides itself, okay, into different frequencies, creating the colors or making the perception of colors. Okay, so are the this is the birth of the chakras as we know them. So as an example to understand how the colors appears, remember like this here, we have like this bottle of water, and if I show you the image here, you will see that there's like kind of weird images, like my fingers point in every direction or my hand disappear. You see, it's like weird. Why happens this? This happens because the light, the photonic particles go through all the things, like here, they go through this space. But what really happened is that when it finds like something like water or a crystal, the light cannot go through properly because the crystals or the particles that shape the water or the crystal, they reflect the particles of light. So the photons kind of hit the walls of the water and it starts to go everywhere. And this is why we start to see weird shapes, like if it multiplies in many, like a fractalization of the image, because basically the rays of light are reflecting in the water or in crystal. This is what is happening. So this is how we can understand that why we see like kind of weird images through water and through crystals. So imagine now that the pure ray of light, white ray of light, goes through a prisma, this beautiful structure of crystal, this perfect form, and it goes straight to it. But what happened? It had so many cuts that the light doesn't go through properly. It just starts to divide itself into different directions. So this prism makes the light to go to spread into different speeds, because some cuts makes the particles go faster, some others make them go slower. So what we have after the rays of light goes through this prisma is the different wavelengths of the light. So some of them will go faster, which is a high vibration or a high frequency, sorry, and other ones will go lower, so it's the low frequency. And our eyes can capture these high or low frequencies and interpret that into colors. So that's why we see a rainbow. Okay, a rainbow basically is our ability to interpret the frequencies of this light that is being fractalized. Also, it's important to know that these 7 colors are not the real colors, are the way in which we can interpret the wavelength in our brain. Okay, because, for example, if it is a beetle, an insect, they will see ultraviolet light. So this means that they won't see some colors we see, and we cannot see the colors that they see. So it's not specifically colors in the universe, but basically they are just wavelengths. Okay, so these wavelengths are information. The ray of light, the white ray of light, is pure and has all the package of information. But when it splits into many different frequencies, all the information reaches in different levels. So there are some information that vibrates very high and some information that vibrates very low. So this data, this information, is moving particles that will create organs and structures in the matter that will be able to interpret the information of that wavelength. Okay, so this is why we create, the nature creates organs according to those wavelengths. So now when you see the rainbow, you'll see the structure of light very properly organized. They are not mixed. They are not in chaotic organization. So they need to find a way in order to stay in harmony, in resonance one to another, so it can work properly and the vibration and the information through it can encode information in a good way. So when it materializes something in nature, these colors, these vibrations must be order. So this is why these 7 colors that we see, they try to create structures that help the light being that we are, the white light being that we are, to find balance and to be in harmony, so we can experience our own creation without any problem. Okay? So this is how we can understand that our body is like this prism, that the prisma that will through where the pure light of the spirit will go through and start to reflect, dividing itself into many, but all of them inside, trying to find the balance so we can experience our life. This inner separation is the one that we will call endocrine. Endo meaning inside, and crine meaning separation, coming from the Greek krinein, that means to separate things. So the endocrine system is the one that encodes all the different parts that we have inside, that regulates the separation for all the being to be in balance and harmony. So the endocrine system is the one in charge of homeostasis. Homeostasis comes from homo, that means all the same. Sta, that means to be still, and sis, that means the action of. So homeostasis is the action of standing still all the same. Okay, so let's go to the frame that I did today for it to be understandable. Can you see it? Endocrine meaning inner separation. What does it do? The endocrine system holds the homeostasis. So we can see here the different wavelengths comes here from the lower one to the highest one. Okay. So these are the main endocrine glands. Glands means the seeds of an oak, the tree. So they are the seeds of an oak because some of them had the shape of a seed. So in Latin, glans means the seed of an oak. I don't know the word in English. How do you say? ¿Cómo se dice bellota en inglés? Well, I know. Yeah, sorry. Acorn. Okay. Gracias. Thank you. Acorn. So an acorn. Okay. Glance means acorn. So let's take a view into the portals, the physical portals that we have, um, that we have to communicate with information of the spirit in the matter. So this is the information, the codes that will manifest the physical parts of my body, physical part of my body, that are the doors to the information. And so when we know which part in our body are they, we can understand the way in which they try to harmonize our whole being like a rainbow. So the main goal of the glands is to create hormones. And what are hormones? Hormones are ones that will mobilize the body. But as I say, what I'm going to explain now is just a tiny little part, is a generality of this, because it's so much information that if you want to know specifically much more about this, you have to check, you have to read, because there's many books of this. So the glands will be like the ones that generate hormones, and the hormones will be like these chemical compositions that will be produced in the glands in order to create chemical reactions in the body, to make actions, to set the body to do things that are good for surviving, for life itself, for the production of life and energy in our body. So imagine this, that one of these, each one of these glands generates these hormones that are so much powerful. They have so much energy. They create so much power in the body, that if only one of them works much more than the others, the tiny quantity that it produces of hormones arise. If this tiny quantity arise, so it can create a disease. It can create a complete mess in the body. Okay, so the main goal, one of the goals that all these glands had, is to try to control each one of them. If one of these glands activates itself like much more powerful, so all the rest will try to shut it up, like don't do this or shut up. I was saying that this is like kind of a meeting of seven guys that sit and discuss about something, and one of them says, like, I say that this should be like this, and stands up and starts to shout, and all the rest, the other six, will go, hey, calm down, sit down, take a deep breath, don't break anything, it's okay. So what the team is trying to do is for each one of the glands to stay quiet. So if there is a case in which the body needs for one of them to work harder or to do much more things, the other glands will try to control it, and if that glands go beyond the limits, So immediately all of them will try to control it, to shut it up. Okay, shut it down. Okay. So the incredible thing about this system is that these tiny 7 glands has so much power. They create so much energy for us to be and to do what we have to do, that themselves they need to be quiet, to control one another, for us not to explode, basically, for us to survive. They are working 24 hours a day, all the time. So imagine that this gland generate a lot of information and a lot of energy for us to exist. But some of them work much more when we are babies, when we are young, because the body is still in production. But eventually, with the time, some of these glands interpret that there is no need to do some things, like, for example, to reproduce. So this is why the gonads, the reproductive glands, they start to shut down, because they say there's no need to reproduce anymore. So so these glands stop producing the hormones of reproduction, and that's what makes us feel much more low energy, and how the body starts to break down. Okay, because before, these glands were holding the vitality of the body. So the functioning of these glands are the ones that generates that regenerates the energy of the cells. So they make the information of the cells to move and to reproduce once and again. So when they stop working, when they stop doing their job, the cells stop receiving that information. So that's why the system starts to go down. So this is why we start to get older, start to die. Basically, this is the reason why we die, because these glands stop working. So if we would be able to hold them with energy all the time, creating the energy all the time, we would live longer, of course. So sometimes when we approach some of these glands and they have to take them out because they have a tumor or something like this, we need to take pills that has the hormones that before were produced by the glands, because of course otherwise we don't have the organ that was made for that. We don't have a natural way to produce the hormones that the body was producing with that gland. So when they take it away, we can have this problem. We need to take them from the outside. So now, when you have these glands are the prism, the prismas that translate the of the spirit, the frequency, into our life. But through our life, we live different things that mold these prismas into different shapes. So according to our emotions, our situations, the environment we live in, what we eat, all the things that we are receiving from the outside, they can shape these prismas into different ways. So that makes that the frequency can sometimes be better or sometimes be worse. And when it becomes worse, when we create a conflict inside of our body that modify the glands, This will be like if the translation of the information that comes inside the body will be distorted like this. It will corrupt. So the data is not longer readable, is impossible to understand. And this is what it creates disease. So we have diseases. And in these moments, we can understand that our emotions, our way of seeing life, our state of humor will be determined according to what we feel. According to the state of the prisma that we have inside. Because remember, the organs are the ways in which we perceive the world. So let's go over it a little bit. So the first one, the pineal gland. Pineal gland, sometimes you might relate it with the crown chakra, but it's not. The pineal is the third eye. The third eye. So the third eye is called like this even in science because it has photosensible cells. So it kind of perceives the light in the same way as our eyes does it. So we can understand this as the third eye inside our brain, and we can locate it here. So it's the third eye, and it has the shape of a pine seed. So that's why in the old times they call it a pine seed we have inside. And the pine was related to the divinity, so that's why they call it the spot of connection with the divine. The spot of connection with the divinity, which is the third eye, the one that enables me to see the other realities from the spiritual realm. So it is located here in the center of the brain, of the head, above the thalamus, which is the place where all the emotions and memories are registered, sensible things. So hypophysis. The hypophysis is the one below development. Hypophysis, epiphysis. So hypophysis is below, closer to the eyes, but besides that is connected to the crown chakra. Why is this? Because this gland is the one that controls all the rest. It's like the king or the queen that controls everything, that controls the other glands with its own hormones. With its own hormones, it basically rules the entire system. Okay. Oh, un momento.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I have that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. This is.
I'm working.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So the thing is that the hypophysis is connected to the crown chakra because it's even physically is seated on the chair that I don't know the name in English. it is how I don't know exactly how you call it in English, but in Spanish is silla turca. It's like the Turkish saddle, something like this. Okay, so in that hole of the bone, you can find the hypophysis. So it's like a throne. It's like a like a throne where the king or the queen sits to control the rest of the body. That's why it's related to the crown chakra. Connects with everything and goes through everything. And we can find it here, close to the nose, between the eyes. Okay, there. So hypophysis usually is known as pituitary gland. For sure, you know it with that name. But I don't like to call it like this. I deny to call like that because it's a horrible name, actually. Maybe some of you don't know, but in the science and spirituality, they still call it pituitary. But pituitary is the way in which the Roman people used to call this gland because they thought it was the one that generated the mucus from the nose. Okay, so pituita in Latin means mucus. Okay, so for respect to that gland, which is the one that connects us with the spirituality and with the higher self here and now, so I rather not to call it pituitary. I rather call it hypophysis. Okay, remember that hypophysis means under development or the growth, growing up. So thyroid. The thyroid means shield. The shield, because it has the shape of a shield here on the neck, on the throat. Thyroid. So it is the one that connects the information between the hypophysis and pineal gland with the other glands. It's like a kind of communicator of the information. So this one here is the one that that is related to the growth, to the development, to when we are growing up is the most important one. So it is related to with communication between the glands and also the growth of the body, growing of the body. We have the thymus then, which is the vital energy. It means vital energy, thymus, and it is related to the defense. It is the one that generates the cells of the immunity system to defend the body. So this is the thymus. As you see, this gland is above the heart, covering the heart. So this is why it is related with the high heart chakra. The high heart, okay, is above the heart, and because it is a gland on system that is helping the entire system to be safe. That's why we call it also the one related to the unconditionality. So the pancreas is the one that will generate the hormones that look for sugar in the blood. So it takes the sugar, so it brings this to the cells to feed the cells. The cells need this sugar in order to generate energy. So obviously the pancreas will nourish the body. Pancreas means all the meat, and it's related to the food, of course. So remember that adrenals, we have the adrenals here upon the above the kidneys, and that's precisely what adrenal means. Adrenal is in Latin, which means aside the kidneys. In Latin, kidneys is renis. So ad renis is to be aside the kidney. So that's the name adrenal. In us is above, but in other animals is aside. So that's why adrenals. Adrenal then is, that's why we call it suprarenal. Suprarenal also because it's above. Supra, it's above. The adrenal glands, the job that they have is to balance the stress. Balance the stress. So the body can when the body is in stress, it will put it down to relax, or if it needs to have energy, it will produces adrenaline to have the energy to move. Then we have the gonads. The gonads comes exactly from the same word as genitals. Gen is the same, meaning the origin, meaning the birth, and so on. So these two are the same, but they divide in feminine, calling themselves ovary, and in masculine, in the male, the testicles. So basically, in the process of gestation, exactly the same. They are the same, but then when it's decided whether it is feminine or masculine, they transform. So if it's feminine, they will become the ovaries connected to the womb, the uterus, and if it decides to be men, the ovaries will go out in the scrotum to make testicles. Okay, so it's the same gland that goes out, makes the testicles, and instead of uterus, we will have prostate. The prostate is the gland related to the uterus, and then it goes through the urethra. So important to know, this here are the manifestation of the chakras. Okay, the manifestation of the chakras. So this is energy. The chakras are not something that goes inside of the body or go out from the body. The chakras are basically the energy manifest into the glands. So the energy of the chakra, when it's activated, is what we will call hormones. So to wrap this concept, the endocrine system is the one that manifests the soul and the spirit here and now. And the glands are the doors in between the information between all the dimensions. This is why it's so important to know this body and how this body works. So whoever didn't read the post for today, I would recommend for you to do it because today in post I explained each one of these systems, where they are, how they work, what are the emotions related to it, and tiny little explanations of how to maintain them working. what happened here is that the biological system is so huge, so perfect, and so immense that it's impossible to touch all the things, all the topics inside of this biology. This is the general information so we can understand ourselves here, what we are, what do we have. So here comes all the questions for sure. How can I know and determine what is my problem? Why do I have this problem or that or this disease? Of course. So for that, you have hundreds of professionals that can help you with biodecodification. You have many other things, but mostly I would recommend you biodecodification. People that can help you to go deeper into the interpretation of why do you have what you have. Okay, why do you have this problem, from where it comes from, what is your body trying to tell you? Okay, and I am saying biodecodification mainly to understand these concepts and not the energetical ones like some therapies with energy and feeling and so on. Why? Because it's important to recognize that we are humans and we have a body. We have to understand our own body to understand the communication with the other realities. This is our tool to understand this world and the universe. So this is why I would recommend you to use therapies that speak to you about the specific disease, the problem, in which part of the body, how it works, the organ. Maybe you need some chemical to restore the balance. Maybe you need some food to change something or whatever. So pay attention to your body, which is the tool that you have to communicate with the everything. Okay, the vibration today is Ka. The statement for today is, I am channel between conscience. The code for today is the digestive system. For the blood to be able to perform this distribution function, it must receive these nutrients and chemical elements. And the way it does it is through the digestive system. I am what I eat. Incorporating from the tongue, the esophagus, stomach, pancreas, vesicle, liver, and small intestines. Everything that we ingest is processed and divided into its minimal expression so that the large intestine can absorb this element and transfer them to the circulatory system, not only in a physical level, but also on an emotional one. This system is in charge of processing all the useful and let the useless through. Too much biology today. Stay comfortable, close your eyes, and concentrate in your breathings. I take a deep breath and I become aware of the body that I inhabit. Become aware of my feet, my legs, wrist, hands, arms, back and chest, neck, and my head. Softly and very carefully, I start to caress the body, to touch each part of it, moving every joint in circles, softly, from my feet going up, stretching the body. I take a deep breath and I yawn, stretching the body in every direction. Softly, I caress and touch every part of the body, feeling which part of it makes me feel uncomfortable and which part makes me feel pleasure. I move and touch my body as I would touch the body of who I love. Feeling the touch of the hands on the lips, the face. I enjoy touching every centimeter of my body, recognizing every part of it, listening to the heartbeat, to the pulse. Each one at its own time. Sit down, relaxing, letting all the weight fall down. The first thing I do is to relax the head by letting my jaw fall down slowly. Pay attention to how it releases the tension, even opening your mouth, feeling how it drops. Perceive the relaxation of feeling your jaw hanging from your head. I also feel the weight of my head relaxing, falling down. I feel how my shoulders relax, letting the weight of my arms and hands fall down. I release the tension of my legs and the back. I take a deep breath and relax. Softly and without much effort, I start to bring my hands to the top of my head in the crown and start to caress down, feeling the sensation going down from my head to the forehead, to the eyebrows, massaging softly like caressing opening to both sides, caressing the nose, and the side of the head, between the eyes and the ears, in circles, recognizing inside the hypophysis and the pineal gland. Softly I go down to the lower part of the throat, massaging softly and caressing, incentivating the thyroid. I go down to the chest, to the high heart, into the thymus, and opening the chest softly. I start to a tapping up and down once and again along the sternum. I go down, caressing to the stomach, massaging deep, feeling the pancreas. I go back with my hands to the middle part of my back, sending heat with the palm of my hands to the kidneys. I recognize the adrenals in this part. I go down through the waist with my hands at the height of the ovaries in the women and your hands in the testicles in the men. Softly I massage, caressing. I take a deep breath and relax my hands on the sides of my body. I become aware, conscious of the physical portals myself, of my being. And I recognize each one of them as my different conscious, connected by my inner channel. I unite them with a sound. I am channel between conscious. I am channel between conscious. I am channel between conscience. I have this conscience in me. I have, I have, I have. I am form. Take a deep breath, and each one at its own time, come back here and now. And those who follow the task for this month, take this energy, put it into the water, and put it to the seeds that we have sowed. Remember that today we begin our month of the mantra that we will say before we go to sleep, which is, I am form. Thank you everybody for being here another day. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.